On the news this morning, President Buhari wins re-election bid in a keenly contested presidential poll. ABGA candidate for Anambra Central Senatorial District, Ume, seeks cancellation of results. Over 2 million naira worth of knapsack sprayers distributed to 100 youth farmers in the state. Trump, Kim Jong-un readies for second summit in less than 1 year. Good morning and welcome to the news. My name is Nonye Mokoye. The candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Muhammadu Buhari, has been declared winner of the presidential election held on February 23, 2019. The incumbent president defeated the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, to emerge winner in the keenly contested poll. Announcing the final results of the election this morning, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, said President Buhari polled a total of 15,191,847 votes to defeat his closest rival and PDP candidate, Atiku, who polled 11,202,978 votes. The 76-year-old Buhari won in a total of 19 states, scoring the statutory 25% of the total votes cast in those states, while his main challenger, Atiku, led in 17 states and the Federal Capital Territory. President Muhammadu Buhari has accepted his re-election and described it as a true test of democracy, accompanied by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and his running mate in the election. President Buhari arrived at his party's headquarters less than 30 minutes after he was officially declared winner by INEC, the electoral umpire. He said his election will help cement the progress made by his government in basic sectors of the economy. There are, however, indications that the candidate of the People's Democratic Party candidate, Atiku Abubakar, will not concede the presidential election to President Muhammadu Buhari, as the PDP has assembled a team of lawyers to challenge the results in court. PDP sources revealed that Kanu Agabi, former Attorney General of the Federation, is leading the team of lawyers that will challenge the results at the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal of the Federal Court of Appeal, Abuja. Other members of the legal team are Joe Gadzama, who has always served as a lawyer to the party, and Chris Uche, among other senior advocates of Nigeria, as the party's presidential coalition agent, Chief Osita Chidoka, walked out of the coalition center without signing the final results sheet. The senator representing Anambra Central and ABGA candidate in last Saturday's senatorial election, Senator Victor Ume, has called for the cancellation of Anambra Central National Assembly election, saying that the process was not free, fair, credible, or transparent. He spoke in a press briefing yesterday at his country home, Agolozibo, an Ochaluk government area. Our correspondent, Valentine Mbadoga, has details.
Senator Ume highlighted INEC's inability to announce Idemili South results as an evidence, maintaining that INEC lost control of the exercise. He added that the election, which recorded so many malpractices, violence, malfunctioning of some INEC-sensitive materials such as the card reader, cannot be accepted as it goes against the rules stipulated by INEC to guide the process.
The mere fact that the Anambra Central Senatorial District election result has not been declared points to the fact that all was not well with the election on Saturday. The INEC clearly lost control of the election because from the guideline made by INEC, the INEC chairman emphasized time without number, that accreditation must be done with the card reader.
He advised INEC to be bold enough to stand against such injustice by cancelling the polling units across the zone, which their results did not reconcile, as the number of accredited voters must tally with the number of votes cast.
INEC should be able to upload their card reader records, and they compare the number of accredited voters in the polling units with what their candidate captured. If there are discrepancies, they should be able to cancel the exercise and repeat the election. I feel that's the only way to ensure that everybody will be satisfied. If you said that you must use card reader to do accreditation and you will not accept any result from any polling unit where accreditation was not done with the card reader, how can you now proceed? You are disobeying your own rules and guidelines. And those guidelines are made pursuant to the Electoral Act, the powers given to INEC. So the guidelines are very important in the conduct of elections.
He, however, enjoined all his supporters across the zone to remain peace-loving as they wait for the resolution of the matter by INEC. From Agluzibo in Anocha local government area, Valentine Mbadoga reporting for ABS News.
The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has commended Anambra State government for its support and commitment towards UNICEF water, sanitation and hygiene WASH programs in the state. The WASH specialist, UNICEF Enugu, Mr. Ferdinand Njue, made the commendation during a two-day workshop on institutional triggering and sensitization meeting for stakeholders at the Agwata local government area, aimed at the attainment of local government area-wide open defecating free status. Blessing Uchendo now completes the story. Hi.
EU UNICEF, in collaboration with Anambra State Water Supply and Sanitation Agency, RWASA, attracted traditional rulers, the clergy, teachers, representatives of various WASH communities in Agwata, and state UNICEF consultants, amongst others. Represented by the zonal WASH consultant, UNICEF Enugu, Mr. Toyin Adisa, Mr. Njue explained that the major role of UNICEF in the implementation of WASH programs in the state is to ensure that investment made is sustained, and the agency does this through the building of the capacity of WASH institutions.
It's our own disadvantage, it's at our own benefit. Let us ensure that we employ every household in our communities to have toilet, and beside that toilet there must be hand washing facilities.
Speaking, the Transition Committee Chairman of Agwata, Honorable Eche Ezibe, represented by the Head of Local Government Administration, Sajaja Nwankwo, said that poor access to safe drinking water and inadequate sanitation were the causes of regular outbreaks of cholera and diarrhea, urging the people of Agwata to strive towards achieving total open defecation free in their various communities.
And I've said that I appreciate the efforts I've been making. At the same time, I equally requested that more efforts should be made by strengthening some of the institutions we have at the local government level, like our public health units.
Contributing, the Permanent Secretary, Public Utilities, Mr. Douglas Mba, maintained that potable water supply and ODF in Agwata should be restored and transformed through the joint efforts of the communities, and charged them to always maintain their borehole and other facilities to increase their lifespan.
I want to happen when I churches you, when I time hall meetings you. Everywhere we have opportunity to tell people, even though the person
on his part, the program manager, RWASA, Mr. Victor Ezehwo, said the essence of the program was to get the support of all the communities in Agwata Council area, identify their successes and failures in ODF, advising the people of the area to strive to achieve ODF status in their local government for a healthier environment for themselves and states at large.
We strongly believe with the support of big ways, the support of the LGO WASH team, the support from UNICEF, support from Anambra State government, the clergy, the market leaders, the park leaders, every other institution, the schools, that by March, April this year, that we will definitely get into that mark of LGO-wide ODF.
Some participants, Engineer Amechi Akaneme, who is the President General of Umuona Community in Agwata, and Mrs. Ebere Okonkwo, Women Leader, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, attested to impacts of UNICEF WASH in their communities and pledged to contribute towards ODF totally in Agwata. From Agwata Council Headquarters, Ekulobia, Blessing Uchendo, ABS News.
Over 2 million naira worth of knapsack sprayers and proper dressing attires have been distributed to 100 specially trained IFAD Value Chain Development Program youth farmers as an empowerment measure. The youth selected from the 5 participating council areas were specially trained on modern spraying technology, pesticides, calibrations, and proper dressing attires by IFAD VCDP at IITA Ibadan. Agri-correspondent Ebele Eze reports that the distribution took place at the State Agricultural Development Program Office in Oka.
Distributing the items proper, the State Program Coordinator, IFAD Value Chain Development Program, Mr. Anambra said, within January and February this year, they have trained 150 selected youth farmers, out of which 20 were carefully selected from each council area. Mr. Aguncha, who asked them to form cooperative societies in their various council areas to be giving services to farmers to meet their pest control needs, noted that farmers are by this arrangement discouraged to go into pesticide control by themselves for safety reasons, while announcing that the empowerment is on matching grant basis, where the beneficiary will pay 30% of the cost and IFAD will offset 70%. Mr. Aguncha described it as the first of its kind in the history of VCDP states and highly recommended by the VCDP National Office.
To encourage them, take safe measures while using agrochemicals. They should use a knapsack and get well kitted. We've seen cases, we've seen casualties where people use this wrongly and they're paying for it. And also to create jobs for them. They can render services to farmers in the communities, both in their farms and in their house, even in markets and other public places, to bring down pest load that cause diseases.
The State Agri-Production Officer, IFAD VCDP, Mr. Emmanuel Chukwukwalo, made it clear that as a result of the toxic nature of pesticide and environmental pollution, the youths were trained on the effective and economic safe handling of pesticides.
My charge is that they will now go and serve our farmers the way, because we have already doing our trainings with all farmers, discourage them, because some of them are not well equipped, and because of the hazardous nature of these agri-chemicals, we train this special spraying squad so that they will now serve the farmers at a token payment. We discovered that it will also be serving them will help the farmers a lot because it is more economical.
Some of the beneficiaries, including Pastor Benjamin Onyebuchi from Mbwaku, Oka North Local Government Area, and Mr. Chukwuemeka Nneli from Umeri, Anambra East Council Area, while expressing their profound joy over the empowerment, are sure to make a living from it and also train more youths.
The benefit in it, number one, this is a money-making venture, something that I will use to make money, because farming is business. I will spread for farmers, and I earn a living, and I get money and profit from it. And that's why the IFAD value chain are equipping us. This thing, before it will get spoiled, I might have made money from it, and even have money to buy the bigger machine.
Sprayer machine, they will use it to do work.
For which people?
For the farmers.
The empowerment program climaxed with individual practical full kitting and collection of the items. These are the 100 modern spraying kits for 100 youth farmers in the 5 participating council areas of Value Chain Development Program in Anambra State. From the Agricultural Development Program Office in Oka, I am Ebele Eze, reporting for ABS News.
Anambra State Community and Social Development Agency, in partnership with the World Bank, has kicked off a two-day training of the second batch of Community Project Management Committee for the Community Social Development Project, CSDP. The CPMC trainees who were drawn from the 5 selected communities of Ubenu in Oka North, Ndi Keliong, Nanka and Omo, all in Orumba North, as well as Omumbo in Ayamelum local government areas, are in attendance to equip themselves with the requisite knowledge and skill needed for the implementation of Community and Social Development Projects, CSDP. Our correspondent Chibuzo Obidiki attended the training and our reports.
CSDP, a community-driven development project, focuses on building and rebuilding social and natural resource infrastructural services at the community level through empowering the communities with grants to develop, implement, and monitor the projects. The trainees selected from the 5 communities are the second batch of the 10 communities selected for the program. Speaking in an opening remark, the General Manager, CSDA, Mr. Chudi Mojieku, revealed that the projects seeks to identify the poor communities in the state. Thus, the training is to prepare CPMC members before disbursement of cash from the World Bank so as to achieve fruitful results. Expressing delight with the active response of the members, while urging the participants to utilize the opportunity given to them, Mr. Mojeku solicited for the support of all to complement the effort of the state government for the birth of the initiative.
Now, for us to begin to fund them, we need to train them on how to use the money in line with the financial agreement signed between the federal government and the World Bank, and the one signed between the federal government and the state government. So the whole idea is to ensure that money will be spent for the intended purpose and through the right procedure and processes.
Delivering a keynote address titled Community Development Plans, CDPs, the operations manager, CSDA, Mrs. Uche Nwazibu, explained that the formulation of CDP is the sole responsibility of CPMC members on behalf of the entire community to plan, design, part finance, as well as implement socially inclusive and environmentally sustainable micro projects.
I encourage all the community members, especially the CPMC members, whom the community have trusted so much, to elect to take care of this implementation of this project, to please to live up to the trusts vested on them. We look forward to them to ensure that the objective for which this project is brought to this state is achieved.
Some participants, including Pastor Cosmas Okafor from Ubenu and Dr. Ngozi Kanu from Ndi Keliong, appreciated the state government and World Bank for the community-driven development project, which is rooted in community needs, and are sure to follow the laid-down principles governing the project in order to achieve a brighter future for their communities.
This training is so much interesting and very, very good, because now I learn a lot of things, especially in this bookkeeping and the other financing. I'm assuring the government that the work will go peacefully and very, very progressive.
I appreciate what World Bank is doing. And if other agencies are doing like that, sky will be our limit. My people are happy. Everybody in the community are happy. Myself, I'm happy. And I bet you we are going to do, we are not leaving any stone unturned to ensure that this project succeeds.
Financial management, gender and vulnerable issues, mainstreaming were the top of issues discussed at the program. In Oka, Chibuzo Obidiki, ABS News.
The Anglican Bishop of Agwata Diocese, Right Reverend Samuel Ezofo, says a worthy service must meet certain conditions in order to be acceptable to God. In a sermon at the Cathedral Church of St. John, Ekulobia, in Agwata local government area, during a rededication service for members of the parochial church committee, diocesan women executives and leaders of various church organizations in Agwata Diocese, Bishop Ezofo maintained that without holiness, no mortal shall see God, pointing out that mere religious observance is not acceptable to God. We have details.
The prelate, who said that it is dangerous for one to be alive and become history, charged those working in the Lord's vineyard to be honest while discharging their duties. Bishop Ezofo, who spoke on the topic Worthy Service, stressed the need for Christians to imbibe the virtues of humility in the service to God and humanity.
Service although is work, but also work done for the benefit of other people, primarily.
In their various interviews, some members of the various organizations that were rededicated during the service, Mrs. Gloria Iloka from Oko Archdeaconry, Mr. Ogonna Odozo from Amuyi Archdeaconry, and Mr. Mega Delibe from Ezira Archdeaconry, promised to use their individual positions in winning souls for Christ.
Onye ọbụla na-eme ọ na-aga n'anya onye alụ onye pụtara na a ga-eme isi ọfụ ya bifo ihe ọbụla.
Kwenyere m na otu anyị banyere na ya then anyị ya amata ihe dị n'ime ya wee na-ejekwa ozi dị na ya ọfụma mee gbalịa ike anyị niile ijere Chineke ozi.
The service, which was conducted by the Cathedral Administrator, Venerable Chijoke Nwankwo, featured a special prayer for peaceful coexistence in the country, administration of oaths of allegiance on the executives of the various church organizations by the bishop, and anthem by the Cathedral Choir.
And now to our national news. Treasury bills and open market operations bills worth 464 billion naira will mature this week. The Central Bank of Nigeria is expected to conduct a primary market auction today, where a total of 115.1 billion naira across the 91-day tenor is expected to be rolled over. The 91-day tenor has an offer amount of 24.37 billion naira and is expected to have a stop rate range of about 10.90% to 11%. In the primary market, the CBN conducts T-bills auction usually every fortnight and requests investors to quote the rates they are willing to pay on the different tenors. Donald Trump has landed in Vietnam for a second meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The North Korean leader had already arrived in the Vietnamese capital, Hanoi, after a journey that saw him cross the border with China on his personal train before transferring to a limousine at Dong Dang railway station. The talks between the two come 8 months after the historic summit in Singapore, which was the first meeting between a sitting U.S. president and a North Korean leader. The U.S. president left Washington on Air Force One on Monday and landed in Hanoi late Tuesday after making refueling stops in England and Qatar. Trump and Kim are due to sit down together for dinner today before more formal discussions get underway on tomorrow. Despite Kim, Singapore pledged to work towards denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, there has been little real movement. President Trump, however, appears upbeat about the prospect for the Hanoi talks, telling reporters he expected a very tremendous summit. And on sports news, Arsenal manager Unai Emery hopes to have Alex Iwobi fixed to face Bournemouth today in the Premier League. It will be limped off in the 74th minute as Arsenal cruised to a 2-0 home win over Southampton on Sunday, raising doubt over his availability for the clash against the Cherries. Emery said on Arsenal's official website that he hopes it's only one knock and not a more important injury. Should Iwobi be past fit for the game against Bournemouth, it would be his 90th Premier League game for the Gunners. Stefan Leschesner also limped off in the second half of the win, but Emery also remains confident that former Juventus wing-back will be fit for the midway clash. First half goals from Alexander Lacazette and Henrik Mkhitaryan were enough to hand Arsenal a comfortable home win and lift the Gunners back into the top 4. And now remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging onto our website www.absradiotv.com. Like us at www.facebook.com/absradiotelevision. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram on ABS Radio TV. And the main point of the news: President Buhari has won re-election bid in a keenly contested presidential poll. ABGA candidate for Anambra Central Senatorial District Ume is seeking cancellation of results. Over 2 million naira worth of knapsack sprayers have been distributed to 100 youth farmers in the state. And from the foreign scene, Trump, Kim Jong-un are ready for second summit in less than 1 year. And that's the news. Thanking you so much for watching. My name is Nonye Mokoye. Do have a great day.